It is a happy moment to be back after a number of years. And know that as we heard in our first reading, God proclaimed to Abram that he was blessed. I can tell you in all honesty, this parish is blessed. You are blessed. In this city, you stand out. And it's a marvelous thing. The second reading in St. Paul talks about the fact that you and I are chosen. Well, we're not the first ones chosen. Abram was chosen along with his wife. And Mary was chosen in the gospel. And when you're chosen, it means you have something to do. It's not just being chosen. You got to do something to earn it. And just as individuals, so parishes are chosen. And they have a mission. They have a task. And this parish is no exception. And as I was been thinking since Father Conrad asked me to come and to preach today, I have been pondering what that mission is. What is that mission? And I have to tell you in all honesty, it's the same mission of every parish. But let me describe it in three ways. These will sound familiar to you. But the first part of the mission of any parish is to bring people to know the love that God has for them and to love God in return. There is no greater mission. It's the first commandment. Love God with your whole person. And to do so is to trust, which is really hard for people, I'm finding out. To trust God. Like Abram did in the first reading, where God simply said, Abram, just go. Just go. And I can hear Abram say, yeah, excuse me, Lord, but where? No, just go. And I will show you the way. And the trust that Mary had, I'm not sure that she really understood everything that the angel told her. Would you? Would you have believed everything? But she trusted. Not understanding fully, she trusted God. And look what God was able to do in both cases. If we just trust God, amazing things can happen. And you know, I'm a part of a parish. A parish's mission is to bring people to know and love God. One of the most important ways that any parish does it is communal worship. And I have to tell you, I travel a fair amount in the diocese. I see a lot of parishes and what they offer for Sunday worship. This is one of the best. But that comes only not because of Hanukkah or even Sage, but it comes because of you, who trust God enough to invest your life in this parish, to give God the best that this parish has. That's important. Every parish is called to do that. But I think also, along with that, what we oftentimes forget is that in order to truly love God with our whole being, we also have to find silent time in our own lives, personal time, in order to develop a quiet heart. You know, you and I and everyone in this society is running at a feverish pitch. We're busy people. We're running like we're crazy. And so often when I suggest to people, well, why don't you just take, 15 minutes, 30 minutes and just sit quietly. Just sit in the presence of God. Oh, Father, I don't know that I can do that. It's not just communal worship that feeds us. The Franciscan Sisters of Perpetual Adoration, as you all know, have what they call the hour. It's their time of Eucharistic adoration. And as important as it is to sit in the presence of the Lord and to close your mouth and to calm yourselves, to hear God speak. Because God can't speak through the clutter of our lives. But what is even more important, and they know this, is that even the sisters need quiet time. We all need quiet time, that we may come to know and love the Lord. Secondly, what every parish is missioned to do is to help its members to not only to love God with their whole being, but to love their neighbor as themselves. We sometimes forget that last part. To love our neighbor. We can become, nothing more than nice social workers, busy bees out there doing all kinds of things, and we forget that it starts with loving ourselves. And it's the other thing I've learned. There are a lot of people that don't love themselves. So, to first of all, to spend time in quiet, allowing the Lord to whisper to your heart the most important thing that you will ever hear in your entire life. You are my beloved daughter or son. You are God's beloved daughter or son. And when we know that, when we have not only do we know that here, but do we know it in our hearts? Do we truly know how important we are? Then we can begin to live our lives accordingly. A parish is called to help its members to know that they are loved. And sometimes that means helping those that need to be more healthy. Those whose lives are shackled by addictions of any kind. Sometimes it's challenging. But when you know that you are loved, then anything is possible. Last of all, is not one of the commandments, but it's something that came to my mind. Not only are we called, but we are also called to be disciples. Not just Christians. That's too loose. We are called to be disciples. Disciples of Jesus Christ. And, sometimes parishes, when it's just about coming to Mass, sometimes they become nothing more than museums. Nice places, but no one lives there. We're called to be disciples. To come here in this house where Jesus is present and to commit ourselves each and every time we come to say, I am your disciple. Show me the way. I am your disciple. I trust you. And that's an amazing thing. We are all called to be disciples. And the journey that we are on in terms of being a disciple is different for each and every one of us. Father Conway is far advanced of me on the journey. Did I tell you I picked him to come here? But it is important to realize that where I am on the journey is not where you are. And where you are is not where your spouse is. And where your spouse is not necessarily where your kids are. So often we want to fix